Hi Charmaine, can you hear me? Oh, you can, great. Okay. Are you okay? Hi Rita, you can hear me too. Great. So I can see we've got 21 people on here already. Wow. Hi Joanne from Ontario. Hi Christine. So I'll give it a few minutes and then we'll jump in. So Christine, were you the lady that wanted the... No, you weren't, sorry. Ignore that comment. Hi Diane Cross. Hi Wendy. Christine, was it you that asked me to do something with editing nodes? Because if it was, I don't know if you saw the YouTube live that went on my channel yesterday. I did a little bit with editing nodes, but obviously I can do more at some point in the future. But the video that went live yesterday was already pre-recorded and scheduled, so it may help you to understand the nodes a bit better. Hi, Leanne. So Christine, you're saying yes. So is that yes? You were the lady that asked me to do the editing nodes, or is it yes, you've seen the video? Hi Natalie, yes, I'm doing fine, thank you. Are you? Yeah, so Christine, it was another project that somebody had asked me to do, but it did involve editing nodes. So it may give you a bit of an idea, but I will do something a bit more, concentrated in either one of these lives, or I'll try and record something, but it may help you. Okay, yeah, I'm going to flick it over now, and then I've got a couple of things that I want to just show you, things that people asked on Sunday. So okay, you should be able to see me now in a few minutes. I can see comments, and I've just got it on my phone as well. Okay, so you can see me. Right. This layout was the layout that I did on Sunday. And I printed it out just to remind me for when I was doing the scrapbook page. And somebody commented, how did I do it? And I said I did it in Canvas. So I'm just going to go quickly how I laid this out to be able to print it. And then somebody else also wanted to know about how to do dashed lines in the software. So that's what I'm going to go over as well tonight. So I'm just going to flick on over. Okay, let me just catch up with what you're saying. Leanne Gordon can see me. Patty, hi, hello. Christine can see me. Wendy can see me. Right, okay. So this is Canvas Workspace for computer that you should be able to see. I'm just going to see if I can find the file that I used. I think it was this one. No, that's not the one I wanted. Just give me a minute, sorry. Open. I think it might be this one. Okay, so you should be able to see the circle with the flowers. Let me move this out the way. I've got that many screens going on. Yeah, so I can see what you can see, and you should be able to see the pink flowers and the black background. And this was following the text on path that I did last week. And then, if you remember, I made the updated video. So when I decided that I was going to use this layout for a scrapbook page, basically what I did, I selected both. And one of the things I will say about using Canvas for computer, you can resize without having to group. If we had two objects like this in Canvas online, we would have to make them a group and then drag them out to resize them. In the PC version, you can just select both. You don't have to make them a group, and you can make them bigger. And basically, I placed the bounding box so it was up in the top left-hand corner, and then I just dragged out the design until it fitted within the red dashed lines, and then that way I knew that it would fit on a 12 by 12 piece of card. I had an idea that I wanted to cut the back layer in blue card, so I came up to the fill bucket at the top, and let me just find my fill palette. It's hiding under. I've got that many things open. Let me get my fill palette out of the way. So I filled it with a blue, which gave me, you know, a visual idea of how I was going to cut the matting layer. The top layer I knew I wanted to cut in white card, so I chose a white, and that was my starting point. And then from there, I got Hannah to send me a picture that she had on her phone, and I was going to print it off on what I thought was 4x6 paper. So, because this was a circle, I decided that I was going to use a circle as my theme. So really, all as I did then, I came to the basic shapes, I dragged a circle on, I came over to the editing icon, and I made the circle 3.25. and that was going to represent my photograph. And then again, just as a visual aid, I coloured it in like a pale grey. Are you all with me so far? I'm just trying to catch up on messages. Hi Barbara, just joined you fine, I've only just started. I'm basically just going over how I created the layout for last week's scrapbook page and how I printed it as a visual guide, and then I'm going to move on to something else. Okay, I can't see any comments, so I'm assuming that you're with me so far. Christine, yes, when you go to the fill bucket, this brings up my colour swatch, if you like, and I can choose how I look at it. I can have like this circle, I can have grey, you know, choose sliders, I can choose this, or I can choose pencils, and I just tend to keep it on pencils. Charlotte's saying so far so good. Leanne's saying yes, so far so good. Okay, so you're all with me so far. But if you use Windows and you go to the fill bucket, you'll have somewhere where you can choose a colour. I'm sure you will. Hi Yasmina. Okay, so back to this. So the grey was... Hi Barbara Morris, it's fine, I've only just started. I'm just going over the layout from Sunday and then I'll move on to something else. So the grey was going to represent me cutting the circle out of the photograph. And then I decided that I would add a couple more circles for decoration. So again, I just made them slightly different sizes. I think one of them was 3.5 inches. And I can't remember whether I did the other one the same or whether I did it bigger. But basically, I just coloured them in. So I thought, right, I've got a white layer. I'm going to have my photograph. I'm going to have this circle. I'll probably do this in some kind of patterned paper. You know, so I literally just laid it out like this. Brought my photograph. If you click on the item you want and right click, and then I brought that to the front. So this was like going to represent my photograph. And then I created my words, which again, all as I did was I selected like this half moon kind of shape and I dragged it out so it kind of fitted within the top part of my circle. And then I did my text, which I think from memory, yeah, it's all capitals, isn't it? So I did stay home. In fact, I need to do that again because it needs to be in capitals. And I chose the half circle and the words. And then I did the fit to path. Dragged them into place to see if they looked as if they were going to be okay on the words. I didn't use this particular font, but I can't remember what font I did use. I think it was marker felt, actually. Let me have a look and see. Let me just have a quick look. I can't remember what. I think it was marker felt. Yeah, it's up here, marker felt. That was the font I used. And once I was happy with, I thought, yeah, that's going to fit okay. On the editing tab, I did convert to shapes down here at the bottom. That gave me my, you know, text. And again, I filled it with a colour. These were just all visual aids, really, to help me, you know, see how the layout was going to look. And once I thought, yeah, that's all going to work, on the Mac, I've got a screenshot app. On Windows, I think it's called the snipping tool. And basically, I just took a screenshot. So I brought it in, something like this, captured the screenshot, and then I printed the screenshot, and that was what enabled me then to be able to do the layout. Okay, so I'm going to cancel that because I don't want to take a screenshot of it. So I can't remember who asked the question, but that was how I made the layout visually in Canvas to then be able to make a printout, which I then used to make the project. So is everybody okay with that so far? Just catching up on comments. I've got my phone on, so I can see comments there. I can see comments on the screen, but they come up quicker on my phone than they do on the screen capture. So Barbara is saying, good to see it over again, only goes in via repetition. Yeah, that's fine. So we're okay with that so far? So Leanne's saying yes. Charlotte's saying it's good to see the process. That's fine. So if you remember, if you watched me on Sunday, when I was putting all this together, I drew some black. I'll get rid of all these bits because they're just getting in the way now, aren't they? So if you remember, I drew some black dashed lines around here. And somebody said to me, could that have been done on the machine? And I said, yes, it could, but you'd need to do it in Canvas first. But it was just an afterthought when I was doing it on Sunday Live. So that's why I drew them in by hand. So if you wanted to draw some dashed lines around the perimeter of this circle now, a way to do it would be to come back to your basic shapes, choose a circle, drag it out so it, is going to fit. And then by default, in Canvas for Computer, everything is set automatically as a cut line. So no matter what you bring on, it automatically defaults it to a cut line. So if I wanted to draw this as well as cutting this white layer, first thing I would have to do is make sure the white layer is defined as a cut, which it is. Then choose my circle, come up to the top and define it as a draw line, and then come over to the right hand side where it says line dash pattern, click on the downward arrow and choose a pattern. And then you should be able to see when I click away, I've got dashed lines. Can you all see that? I've just noticed Chris is saying, just to let you know, I managed to work download for fonts. Thank you. You're welcome, Chris. Okay, I can see comments now. So you can see the dash lines and everyone's saying it makes perfect sense. So if I select the dash lines and come up here, there's different options. So if you look at them as they are now, and then if I choose this one down near the bottom and click away, they're spaced out further. So if you wanted to cut this design and on this white layer you wanted to cut it and then draw the dash lines with a pencil, you would need to choose your dash lines, hold your shift key down on your keyboard and choose your white layer and then group them together. Now I tend to use the shortcuts, which is a right click, but there is a group option. I think it's under the layers tab. Yes, if you go to layers and come down to the bottom, group. So if I move this out of the way now, you can see that the white layer has got the, you know, flower shape and the dash lines with it. And then that would, you could cut and draw that in one process when you've got your white card on your mat. So I hope that makes sense. And as I say, you can play around with the dashed distances, but I'm going to do some more shapes in a few minutes. I just wanted to show you how I could have incorporated it into this layout on Sunday. But as I say, I didn't think about doing the dash lines until I was actually doing the project, and then I just decided to hand draw them in. And you know, to be fair, sometimes you just like to do things like that, don't you? It didn't take long, did it, for me to draw them in? Right, let me catch up with your comments while you're catching up with what I'm saying on here. Linda Allison, hi, you're saying, haha, making a roulade while watching this. Lovely. Is it a sweet roulade or is it a savoury? Charmaine is saying, will the machine tell you to change from blade to pen? Basically, Charmaine, what you would do when you brought this layer on, you'd say, put your white card in, and then I would put the pen in the machine first, and then go to the pen option in your machine and choose pen, and it will draw. And then when it's finished drawing, without removing the mat from the machine or without removing the white piece of card, put your blade in and then go to cut, and it would cut. I would always do the draw first. That's just the way I do it. Right, I'm missing out on comments, I think, so let me see where we're up to. Christine saying, yes, but why is there several dash lines? Do you mean in the options at the top? It's just giving you different options, the different distances apart. So if I ungroup this again now and just come back to the dash lines on their own, you can have them small and very close together. You could even have it just as a solid line. You could draw a solid line with a pen if you wanted to. Or you can choose, you know, your distance, how big you want them. I mean, if I go to the very bottom option and you look at them now, if I try and zoom in, can you see how big they are there? Barbara, what you're saying, so the pattern has to be in the download version. No, you can put the dash lines on any pattern, either in the online version or the download version. The reason I'm using the download version for this is because to do these flowers around this circle is what's called fit to path, and you can only do that in the download version. Yeah, Christine, draw first and then cut. Oh, Linda's saying sweet lemon and berry. Oh, that sounds nice. Right, what's Barbara saying? Barbara Harty, the dash lines when cutting will help you fold. Yeah, if you use the dash lines as a solid line, then you can use those for like when you're box making or card making. But if you're using them for decoration, you can choose to cut them or draw them. Right, Charmaine's saying, okay, I've never used my machine to draw, thank you. Okay, well, yeah, you don't just have to draw text, you can draw anything. What's Natalie saying now? If you use the dash as a cut, it would be like the stitch. Yes, you can, exactly. And that's why I'm saying what you need to do is, let me just zoom back out. So when you decide which one you want to do, you need to choose whether you're going to make them a cut or a draw. If you wanted to use the blade to cut these dash lines so it looks something like the stitch dies, then you would set it as a cut line and it would cut. Let me get rid of this blue layer because that might be confusing. So if you set them to dashed, hang on, let's make that a solid line. Okay, so let me send this to the back. Okay. So you can choose whether you want to draw them or cut them. Okay, but you need to choose up here before you send the design over to your machine. What I'm going to do, I'm going to come out of this and I'm just going to work with some basic shapes, and then hopefully everybody will understand what I'm trying to do. So I'll get rid of all of this and all the bits and pieces, and we'll just work with some simple basic shapes. Let me catch up on what everybody's saying. Teresa, good afternoon. Hope everyone is safe and happy. Yes, same to you. Barbara's saying, thanks for that, Ashley, and thanks, Rita. Don't know, must have missed Rita's comments. Love the idea. Wow, I never thought of using dash as a stitch line. Right, okay, so let's just start with a simple circle. So this circle by default, in fact, hang on, let me take a back step. Let me ask you all a question. Do you use Canvas Online or Canvas for PC more? Just in the reply, type online or PC, and then I'll go with the majority first, and then if I've got time, I'll show you in both. So just let me know whether you use Canvas Online or Canvas for PC. And I'll do that one first, because if that's the majority, and then I'll try and come back to, because in Canvas Online, it's a little bit different. Someone's saying both, someone's saying PC, PC, online, PC, online, both. Oh no. Canvas on, right, okay. We'll stick with PC for now, and then I'll go to online, because in the online, it's a little bit different. Okay, so at the moment we're on Canvas for PC, and we've just got a basic circle, which I've just brought on. All right, we're getting lots of boths now. All right, I'll go to online in a bit. So in the PC version, everything by default comes on as a cut line, just a cut line, nothing else. So if you wanted to cut a circle and have some dash lines inside it, the way to do it would be draw your circle. Let's make it a specific size, right? We'll make it a 4-inch circle, okay? So this could be like a die that you'd get in a die set. This is a basic 4-inch circle that we've set as a cut line. I'm under the editing tab. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and I'm going to use the offset. I'm going to make an inward offset, okay? And I'm going to make it 0.08, and then where it says offset direction, I'm going to say inward, and then I'm going to say okay, and that's now given me an inward, but it's a solid line and it's a cut. Now, if you want this to look like a die, a stitched die, first of all, you need to leave it on cut, and then you need to come over to where the line style is and choose one of the styles. Now, I tend to use this one in the main. And what I'll do, I'll colour those in red in the hope that you can see it better. And then I'll zoom in. Okay, are you with that so far? So you've got a 4-inch solid circle, which is set as a cut line. You can see up here. And then inside it, set at 0.08, you've got another cut line, but it's going to be dashed. So it's going to have spaces in between it. So it's going to cut, leave a space, cut, leave a space, and do that all the way round. Are we with that so far? Natalie, you don't need to buy dies. I've got one set of Stampin' Up dies which have got 4 circles, 4 squares and 4 ovals. And they're only in, obviously, 4 sizes. And I think the biggest one's only probably 3 inches. And that set of 12 dies was £28. Doing it this way, in Canvas, either for computer or online, it doesn't matter which one, you can make these any size, any shape. Everyone's saying yes, so you're all with that so far. So what I would do now, I would select both of these and I would make them a group. So I'm just going to go right click and group. Okay, I'm just going to zoom back out so that you can see a bit more of my screen. So that is one 4-inch circle. Now let's say you wanted to do a 3-inch circle with dash lines. I would just right click, make a duplicate, and then I'd come over to the editing tab, which is the second down on the right, and I would change it to 3. And you've now got a nesting 3-inch. If you wanted to come down in 1/2-inch increments, again, I would choose this one, right click, make a duplicate, and make this for 3.5. So you can make your own nested dies. Right, let me catch up with what you're saying. I'll just zoom in on this bit. Just give me 1 minute, my zoom's not working. And then I'll catch up on what you're saying. Leanne Gordon's saying you've got a whole wall of dies. Yeah, and I bet they were really expensive. Okay, Marjorie, I'm working at the moment in the downloadable version. And I'll show you the difference in a minute because I'm going to do exactly the same thing in the online version because there's an extra step in the online version. Right, let me think of the money I could have saved. Definitely, exactly, that's what I mean. As I say, my set that's got the 4 circles, 4 square and 4 ovals was £28, and that's just one set. And to be fair, I only bought that recently because it's Stampin' Up and I got a deal on it. So, right, so what's Natalie saying? Yes, I saw when you made the flower card and I can't find stitch dies here in South Africa, and when I do, so expensive. Yeah, so Natalie, make your own in Canvas now. And Leanne's saying that's made several of the dies redundant. Right, so, oh, sorry, my screen keeps twitching. So let me just show you something else. So We're still in the online, we're still in the download version. So let's just put those all down here out of the way at the minute. Let's choose the scallop circle. You can do exactly the same. So let's make it 4 inches to start with, because I just like to work in round numbers, but you don't have to. It's come on automatically as a cut line. With it selected, and I'm on the editing tab, I'm going to come down to the bottom, choose offset, and I'm going to leave it as 0.08. Again, you can mess around with the distance. You can make it so your inline comes in a lot more or it's a lot closer. It's entirely up to you. I quite like 0.08. I'm going to leave it as an inward and I'm going to say OK. I'll make it red in the hope that you can see it a bit better. And then with it selected, I'm going to make it a dash. So I've now made a scallop shape with dash lines. So you can use any shape you want, you know, and there might be some shapes that there are no actual dies that you can buy that you can do this with. So you can actually make your own in any shape you want. So if you wanted triangles, you could do exactly the same with triangles. And again, you can make these in any size. So I'll just make that a group and I'll put that down there out of the way. But, you know, do a triangle. So you've got your basic shape. It's set as a cut line. Come down to the offset, which is at the bottom of the editing page. I'll leave it at 0.08. I'll leave it as inward and I'll say OK. The inward is the one that's automatically selected because that's what we've just made. So I'm going to make it a dash line and let's make this one pink. So I've now made, if I zoom in, triangles with a dash line. Let me catch up with what you're all saying. Christine's asking me what version do I use more. I tend to use the online in the main, but just in the last couple of weeks since we've had the fit to path, because you can only use the PC version, I've been using the PC version, but I tend to gravitate more to online. If I'm making something specific where I want, say, dashed fold lines, you know, like maybe a box or something, then I use the PC version because you can make use of the positioning coordinates, the X and Y coordinates. Linda's asking me, what brand of pens do you use in the universal pen holder? Okay, I've actually got in the font playlist, Linda, I've got, it may have even been a live, it's from some time ago, but in the font playlist on the channel, I went through all different types of pens. Basically, some of the pens that I use are just cheap, fine tip pens from like the local supermarket. But if you have any Stampin' Up, Stampin' Right markers, they fit the universal pen holder perfectly. In fact, I've been doing a project with those today and it's on Instagram. So if you have a look at Instagram, there was something I posted yesterday and something I posted today that's both got a written greeting, and that was done with the Stampin' Right markers. Right, Natalie's saying, my brain is in overdrive now, thinking of all the possibilities. I know, that's what I mean. There's so much you can do. And don't forget, these are just only simple shapes using cut and dashed cut lines. But all these dash lines could be set as a draw line, and you could be drawing them in with a pen. So if you've got something like, you know, one of those Secura gold, what do they call them? Are they gel pens? You could be doing these in all different colours. Leanne Gordon's saying that fit to path looks great. It is, it's brilliant, but you can only use the fit to path in the PC version. Okay. So, just to recap, when you bring a shape on, let's just bring a heart on. When you bring a shape on in the PC version, it automatically comes on as a cut line. If you then want to do an inset line, you need to tell the software before you send your design to your machine what you want your lines to be. So if we were going to do a heart, this is set to a cut line, which is fine, which would be what I would want. I would come down to the offset, I'll choose an inward, and I'll say to the machine, I want this to be a dash line and I want it to be a cut dash line. So that would all cut together. Let me make it a group. That would all cut with the blade. So you'd cut, it would, when you when you're using both cut lines, the machine will decide which way it wants to cut it. It may cut the outside first, and then it may put the cut lines of the dash lines in second, or it might do it the other way around. If you were doing the dash lines in pen, you tell the machine, I want to draw or I want to cut. Okay, so are we all okay with that process so far? Because I want to show it you in the online version, because there's just an extra step in the online version. But I want to make sure that everybody is okay with this first. But you can see, you can do this. You could even do this with borders. So let's just go to the borders before we move on. And let's choose this border. Let me make some space. So this is just one of the standard borders that's in Canvas. I'm just going to catch up with your comments in a minute. So this is one of the borders that's come in, and as I say, it automatically comes in as a cut line. So, you know, you'd put this on your mat, you'd put some card in and you'd cut it. But you could add a dashed cut line to this, or a dashed draw line, doing exactly the same thing. So come down to the offset, I'll choose an inward again, and I'll say OK. You could draw that second line in with a pen, or you can tell it to make it a dash line. And again, you could either draw that dash line if you set it to a draw line here, or you could cut it. So the possibilities are endless because you can do it with anything. I've even done it with text. So let me make those two a group, because I've got all sorts of bits going on here. So everybody seems to be with that so far. So let's just make some text. And I'll choose a nice chunky font because it looks better in something a bit more chunkier. So I'll choose Impact and I'll make it bigger so that you can see it. So again, by default, it comes on as a cut line. But if I wanted to put dashed pen lines all around these letters, again, I would come to the offset. I would leave it as an inward. I'll say OK. And I'll make my inward dashed, but this time I'll say draw. I'm going to make them both a group, so I'm selecting both, right click and make a group. So in this particular instance, you'd put your pen in and you'd draw your dash lines, and then you'd put your blade in and it would cut them. Are we all with that now? Everyone seems to be saying yes, okay. Leanne saying, is there a program that would make a shape into a font? Not sure about that. What do you mean, Leanne? You're thinking about the borders? Let me just have a quick drink and then I'll wait for Leanne to... Okay, so we're getting brilliant. So everybody seems to understand that so far. So you could fit to path. No, but if you go to defont.com and go to the dingbat section, in fact, let's see if we can do it, because we're going to go to the online version. So hang on while I find. Okay, so I'm in the Canvas online now, and somebody asked before, how do you know the difference? The online version has the big purple download button here. So that's how you tell which program you're in. So I don't know who somebody asked me that before. I'm just making sure you can see what I'm showing you. That's fine. And I'm just going to quickly show you the same dashed principles, but there's an extra step in Canvas Online. So is everybody with me so far? I don't want to be racing ahead through this, but I want to make sure, I do want to get through it, obviously. I don't want to keep you all, and I want to make sure that you all fully understand it. So I'll just have a quick drink of my juice. I can see that Natalie's saying, wow, lovely. Is that to the borders? Right, seems to be getting lots of yeses, so I think you're all with me so far. Right, okay, so in the online version, and as I say, you know you're in the online version because you've got the great big download button. You don't have that in the computer-based version. If I come to the basic shapes again, and I choose my circle, that's all right, Leanne. Don't want them burning. Okay, so with my circle selected, I'm going to come to the properties box, which is the square with the lines in it. And in the online version, your shapes come on as a cut/draw line. So they're either, whereas in the download version, they automatically all come on as a cut line. It is easy, Christine, definitely. But sometimes you just kind of need to be shown and have it explained. And that's what I wanted these sessions to be all about while we're all in lockdown. So we can all, you know, ask questions, iron things out, you know, get to learn other things. So let me just get out of that. So in online, your shapes by default come on as a cut or draw. Okay. So just remember that for 1 minute. So if I want to do the same circle with the dash lines like I did in the PC version, with this selected, I'll go to Edit, come to the offset icon. I'm going to make it 0.08 like I did in the PC version. So I'm just sliding this slider until I get the size here. I'm going to say inward and I'm going to say OK. Now, if I choose the inward and come back to the properties, and if I want to draw this dash line, I come down here to draw, so I'm assigning my inward line as a draw, and then I come to patterns and I choose my dashed line, and then I close the properties box. So on the face of it, I've got a circle with drawn dashed lines. Now if I send this to the ScanNCut machine and I say, I want you, I'm putting a pen in and I want you to draw, it will draw, let me zoom in, it will draw the dash lines because you saw me assign those here, draw and dash. But because the online version designates the shape that comes on as a cut or a draw, if I say to the machine, I want you to draw, it will draw both lines. It can't distinguish. So it would draw this solid line and it would draw the dash lines. So when you're in the online version, you have to make sure, and I've said this in many, many videos, and you'll hear me say, I'm going to assign this as a cut line and I'm going to assign this as a draw, and this is why. So you choose the outside line and you actually, instead of having the top option, you choose this one, cut line, and you leave your line as a solid line. And in that particular instance, when you sent this over to the machine, if you say, put the pen in and draw, it will only draw what you've assigned as a draw line. And in this particular instance, it's those dash lines. If you put your blade in and say cut, it will only cut the outside circle. So there's a kind of an extra step in the online, because your shape, whatever you put on your mat initially, always comes in as either a cut or a draw. In most cases, if you're not drawing, it doesn't matter. If you were just sending a circle, if I get rid of the dash lines, if I was just sending that circle to my machine and I just wanted to cut it, it wouldn't matter that from the software here, it could be a cut or a draw, because I'm just telling it to cut. But when you want to use the pen, you've got to be mindful what other shapes you're using and how you've set them. Does that make sense? Can't see any comments, so I'm hoping that you all understand that. I can see thumbs up now, and I can see yes, got it. So that's the extra step in using the online version. Just be mindful. If, let's just go back and do the offset again. So if we go to edit, offset, make this 0.08 again, inward, OK, and then assign this as cut dashed lines. Because everything's cutting, it doesn't matter. It's only when you're using the pen that you've got to be more mindful in the online version. The downloadable version, you still have to be mindful, but things automatically come on as a cut in the download version, and then you say what I'm adding, I want to cut or I want to draw. In the online version, they come on as either, so you just have to be mindful. Right, what's Christine saying? Can you transfer online to PC if you want to write, say, a name? Yes. But you can write a name in the online. But are you saying if you wanted to use a font that was on your computer that's not in the online version. Is that what you mean? But the answer's yes, as Rita's already said. So this is, in fact, let's just do a different shape and then I'll show you. So let's pick a shape we've not used. Let's do this star. I'll make it bigger. And then I'll show you how you can bring it into the other one. So I'll make this a cut line and I'll leave it solid. I'll go to edit, I'll do offset, I'll take it down, I'll make it 0.12 this side, inward, and say OK. And then I'll make the inward a draw dash line. I'll select both and right click and make them a group. So the way that you would do this now is give it a name. So we'll call it test. I'm going to download it and I'm going to download it to my computer. And it's just going to drop in my downloads folder. And I'm going to close that. I'm going to come back to the PC version. I'm going to go to the top of the screen. I'm going to choose import from computer. It's dropped into my downloads folder. It's here, test.fcm. I'm going to say open. And that's brought the star in. So that's all you would do. And then if you wanted to add your text or whatever to that, that's how you do it. Is that okay, Christine? Do you understand that? Right, everybody's got that. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to come back and I'm going to go to default because it was Leanne, I think, that asked, wasn't it? Right, I'm going to close the online version for now. So Leanne, you were saying about you wanted to put a border on a path. So if you, once you're in default, you'll see there's a section here called dingbats. And if you come down to shapes, all these fonts that are in here are dingbat fonts. But some of the shapes you could use as fit to path. Let's just see if we can find anything quickly. You might not be able to use all of them. You'd have to play around with them. And some of them might lend themselves to being turned into borders rather than fit to path. But again, it's just about playing with them. Let's see if we can find anything quickly. think I've already got this one installed on my computer. Vintage Decorative. Let me just have a look. So let me just get rid of all this that's on here. You can still see me. Right, so let me go to text. Just type and see if I've got that font. I think I've got that, but I'm not sure. Yeah, here. But that's not, that letter doesn't, that was just S's. Let me see if I can just find what letter is in that font that might work. Vintage Decorative, let's have a look. Asterisk, let me try that. Don't know if this is going to work. This might be another, what's an asterisk? Is it the thing over the 8? Okay. Right, so if in this particular font, this is a dingbat font, and an asterisk gives you this shape. But this is the other thing about dingbats, you've got to look at them, because I'm not sure how well you can see this, but if you look at this, it's all quite jagged, and that really wouldn't make a very good cut line. But there are, in the font, under that dingbat section, Leanne, there are shapes that you will be able to use that you can use on the fit to path that look like borders. So you just need to have a play around with it. As I say, some of them work and some of them don't. I mean, I particularly wouldn't cut this, because if you look at it, it's got all these bumps and bits in it and it's all quite crooked. But the Saru's flower ding that I used recently with the flowers is a lovely one. I use that a lot. But there will be other fonts in there that you can use. Right, let me just catch up on what people are saying, and then I think it might be, if anyone's got any questions, I'll see if I can answer them, and then I think we might just call it a day for tonight. How do you get the fonts on a Chromebook? What's a Chromebook? I've no idea. Is it a computer? Natalie Morris is saying, perfect, thanks, have to run, love these sessions, stay safe everyone. Yeah, see you all hopefully on Sunday. Leanne is saying, okay, we'll have a play, don't want to hold you up. It's fine, don't worry. But as I say, with dingbats, you just need to have a look at them and zoom in on them and see what they're like, because some of them have an awful lot of nodes as well, and that can affect how they cut. What's Marjorie saying? How do I get the online version of Canvas? Do I download it from Brother? Marjorie, no, the online is an online. Hang on. Let me come back. Let me go to my website, because I've got all the links on my website. Right, you should be able to see my website, Marjorie. If you go to the Scan and Cut tab, there's a help and information section. And in here, it tells you all about Canvas and where to get it. So it says here, get ScanNCut Canvas Workspace for web or computer. Let me log out of mine. So it will bring you to canvasworkspace.brother.com, and the online version is completely free, and you set yourself up a login and a password. And when you've done that, I'll just go to mine. That then enables you to use Canvas online. Let me log out. But before you log in, you can see this great big black icon that says download. That's where you get the version for your computer. So let me just see. Marjorie, does that help? And then let me go back. Jada's saying it's a laptop. Okay, well, if it's a laptop, you just download the file from DeFont to your laptop. If it's Windows, you either just double click it to open it, or you might have to right click and choose extract. The best thing to do is if you go to YouTube and type in how to download and install fonts on a Chromebook or whatever it was called, there'll be videos. Linda's saying, thank you very much, look forward to Sunday. Charmaine's saying, I have a question, that's fine, what's your question? Barbara, thanks Ashley, see you Sunday. Thanks so much, learning a lot, great. Probably a stupid question, but I have a Mac and can figure out how to send the project to my SDX. I'll come back to that in a minute, Jennifer. Have you enough time to show the mat that I asked you about from your last session? Leanne, is that the one I made from the placeholder? Christine, what was your dingbat font called? The flower one, Christine, is called Ceru's. Have I got it on here? Hang on. This one, you should be able to see it here. I've got that many questions now, I can't remember what I'm supposed to be. Where I'm up to. Barbara Harty, that's fine, see you Sunday. Jennifer, right, I'll come back to Jennifer in 1 minute. Christine, yeah, bye. Marjorie, the online version is as it says, it's online. So you use it online. So you can use it on a computer, you can use it on a laptop, you can use it on an iPad, because all you're doing is using it online. If you want to use the download version is only available for computer or laptop. You can't use it on like an iPad. Right, let me go back to Jennifer. Jennifer, you're saying you can't... What did you say? I can't remember. Let me try and find your comment. Jennifer, ask me the question again, because there's been that many questions now, I've forgotten what you wanted. Charmaine, when I was showing you how to do the layout at the beginning, I took a screenshot. And that's how I printed it, from a screenshot. Right, you're not sure how to get it? Okay. Jennifer, are you using the online version or the PC version? Or the Mac version in our case? Just let me know which one. Right, Marjorie, you're okay, so that makes sense for you now. Okay, that's fine. So just need to try and sort Jennifer out. So you want to know how to get the design to the machine. The free bouquet card, right, okay. So let me log in. Online. Okay, so I'm online and I'm going to go and find the bouquet card. So let me do a search. That's not how you spell bouquet, I don't think, is it? Hang on. B-O... Okay, so this was the design. So you select it and then it's in 3 parts. You can either download each one of these. There's a big download button here. You can download each one individually, but what you would do, you'd have to download it to your machine, go and retrieve it from your machine, and then come back and download your next. The best thing to do is do this here, download all parts. So you download all parts, it will drop into your downloads folder. Mine's in the bottom taskbar. And it comes in. I don't know if you can see this now. Hang on, I'm not even on the right screen, am I? Give me 1 minute. Right, so here's the bouquet design. You come down here. Right, you can see me now, can't you? So you come down here to download all parts and it will drop into your downloads folder, which is usually at the bottom of your Mac screen. It's a folder. You usually have a folder that says documents and one that says downloads. If it's not in your taskbar, it might be in your applications folder under F4 on your keyboard. And once you've got the folder in your downloads folder, you just drag it out onto your desktop and then put a USB stick into your Mac and drag the folder onto your USB stick. Does that help? You did what, Jennifer? I'm lost, sorry. Right, if you have wireless, you can't send, because this design is made up of 3 different mats, you can't send the whole folder over wirelessly. So if you want to send it wirelessly, what you would need to do is open the first design by choosing the, let me make sure you can still see what I see, yeah. So you would choose your first mat. It will come onto your screen. And then you would choose download and use transfer. And that's how you do it wirelessly. But you would have to send each mat to the machine separately. You can't send them all together. So does that make sense, Jennifer? If it's a single design, you can just send it over wirelessly by using this transfer. But when it's a design that's in a folder with more mats, you need to put it onto a USB stick. Right, you've got that now, that's fine. Right, Charmaine, was it you that wanted me to do the... No, it was Leanne, wasn't it? Okay, you understand now. Right, that's fine. Right, Leanne, was it you that wanted me to do this quickly before I go? Right, you're fine with that now, Jennifer. Okay, that's fine. I can always go over that in another session when we've got more time, but if you're okay with it now, that's fine. I just want to see if I can do, I think it was Leanne, and then I'm going to go. Is she still here or has she gone? Right, you're still here, Leanne. Right, okay, so I've already done it, but I'll show you how to do it. So this was the original design that I turned into this, and then you wanted to know how to make a matting layer for the outside, is that right? So basically that's really easy if this is all you want to do. Select your design. If you're doing it in the online version, go to Edit, go to Offset, choose your offset, maybe 0.08, say Outward, and say create an offset line only around the outer edge. So leave this ticked and then say OK. And I'll colour this in a different colour in the hope that you can see it. Let's make it orange. So that, I'm going to send that to the back, right click and send to back, and I'll put that on top. And then I'll zoom in and hopefully, is that what you wanted? And you can do that either online or in the PC version. Just do exactly what I showed you earlier with your circles and all that. Only then I was doing inwards, just make it an outward. Okay, so I'm just going to wait for Leanne to reply and tell me if that's what she wanted. Okay, so that's fine, is it? Is that what you wanted? Just waiting for the comments. So if that's everything for now, I'm going to say goodbye. Hopefully we've got through a few more things. Things are a bit more clearer, hopefully, for people as well. The comments seem to have stopped. You're welcome, Leanne. Right, so I think for now we'll leave it there, and I'm going to say good night to you all, and then hopefully I'll see you all on Sunday at 5 p.m. UK time, and I'll see what we can come up with. If any of you've got any suggestions, if you send me messages, if not, I'll try and come up with a project. Maybe something from Canvas again, or I don't know, something. Charlotte, you're welcome. Joanne Rattray, yes, if you've not updated your machine in ages, just go and get the latest update and it will do all the previous ones before it. The latest one always supersedes anything else. Okay, guys, I'm going to say goodbye for now because I'm getting a dry throat now. Thanks for being here. Thanks for all your questions, and it's great chatting to you all. Yeah, stay safe, everybody, and I'll speak to you all soon. Thanks a lot. Bye.